New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. What's the difference? Maybe you'll find out on I Don't Know About That with Jim Jefferies. Also, we could talk about turtles. All right, hi, welcome to I Don't Know About That with me, Jim Jefferies, the man who doesn't know anything about anything. Forrest Shaw, Kelly, Jack's here. Jack's up at the desk here. Jack's up at the desk. We've got a camera on him.
Hi, everybody.
Got a camera on him. We're going to buy an extra camera. Did you have a good Christmas, Jack? Hasn't happened yet. This airs the 29th. So how's your Christmas went?
Christmas went great. I think I'm in my house alone now.
What, is that your prediction for Christmas? What's
I
your
think
Christmas?
everyone's leaving. Yeah, I'm alone.
Do you want to come to my house for Christmas?
Okay.
All right, you got to get a COVID test.
Wait, your house was great on Christmas.
All right, but you can come
Okay. Because it's in the future.
in the future. I'll tell you my little Christmas story. My father, who came out to spend Christmas with me last year because that year he became a widower, and so this is the first Christmas that I haven't been with, and his wife's dead. My mother, she's not all around, and so my dad's by himself. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll send me dad a case of beer, a few bottles of wine, and a big Christmas hamper. Right?
It's a
As a
hamper.
Christmas
hamper.
That's why we throw dirty clothes in here.
Yeah.
No, like a hamper, like, hampers, like gift
Right.
baskets.
Ah.
They're called hampers
We
everywhere
call
else.
hampers where you throw dirty clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, gourmet. So it's got nuts and olives and shit.
I thought it was like just a basket of your dirty clothes.
with like, a garland on
The
it.
rest of the world call them hampers.
Okay.
Right?
Well, there you go.
So a gift basket.
Okay.
It doesn't sound as fancy.
Anyway,
Anyway.
it doesn't.
And so I sent him a gift basket. It's got all the stuff and some nuts and some cheese and some fucking all that type of stuff and all cellophane and all that. Now they started to deliver them. Actually, and I also sent him a case of beer 2 weeks earlier, but I forgot all about that. There was a beer company in Victoria that wrote to me and said, we're big fans and blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I don't live in Australia. But if you want to send my dad a case of beer, have at it, right? Mm-hmm. So I forgot all about that, right? So my dad, the hamper company, which was called Gourmet Hampers, right, I'm not just saying, right? So the gift basket company sent the beer got sent before, and then the gift basket got sent, and then the beer got sent, and then the wine got sent, all individually on different days, right? So my dad had 4 days of parcels coming to him. Now, what I think is, my dad's at that stage of life where he's winding down, where he's getting rid of stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't want to give him anything material because he doesn't bloody want it. There's no gift the man fucking wants. So you give him you give him perishables. you give him things that he can eat, and so he can feel more Christmassy, right? So I sent these things. There was a card in there. It said, to Dad, love you, son, right? There was a card in there.
Yeah.
But my dad, there was no card for that first case of beer. So what happened was these 4 deliveries happened. My dad assumed, because no one's ever sent him anything in his entire life, that they were meant for someone else or it had something to do with a terrorist or something.
The beer?
Yeah, he left all the stuff in its boxes, right? Even the hamper came in a box for some reason. He left everything in the box, and he told my brother, the cop, had to come down to inspect the parcels.
I wish terrorists would send me alcohol.
Yeah, my dad's gone, someone sent me a case of beer. They must have an ulterior motive. he couldn't live in a world where someone just liked him and wanted him to have a good time.
So did your brother give him to him?
My brother went down, opened the box up. They all stood back in the
bomb squad.
The robot opening.
I assume my brother was in a bulletproof vest, just standing back, and then they opened it up, and he went, it's from Jim."
Yeah, it was Mick Malloy's brewing company.
Mick Malloy's brewing company. That's where it happened. Mick Malloy. So
Who's Mick Malloy?
Mick Malloy, I do radio with him in Australia. He's one of my comic heroes, and I do his radio show once a week every now and then. Him and Jane Kennedy do a show, and I love Mick Malloy. And Mick Malloy, that's right, I did a show, and they said, I'll send you some beers. I said, I'll just send them to me dad. Anyway, so he rings up, and he goes, I've got these parcels, and I go, I sent them, Dad, it's all right. And he goes, thanks for the beer 2 weeks ago. Right? And I went, and I forgot about the Mick Malloy beers, as I couldn't even remember Mick Malloy then, and I just went, I didn't send you beers 2 weeks ago, right? And so the mystery is back open in his mind. He's there going, he thinks he's got a secret admirer or something.
Oh, but wait, you just solved the mystery right now?
Yeah, I just solved it right now.
Oh, so you sent your own beer and Mick Malloy. Wow, but your dad doesn't know about the Mick Malloy.
My dad doesn't know that they're from Mick Malloy, so I got to ring my dad today and tell him that the Mick Malloy beers.
So he drank beer 2 weeks previous,
What
no
he-
problem. But
what
then
he
the
did
other
was-
beer was Terrace beer.
He got the first case
Yeah.
of beer, and then he goes, "Oh, I didn't think they were for me. There was no card on them or anything like that." He goes, "I had a few, and then I was worried they were for a neighbour or something like that." It had his name on there and the address. He goes, "Oh, I was worried they were for someone else, so I've only had 2 of those in case someone knocks on the door asking for their beer." Mate.
Here's
and
22 beers.
And then when the 3 other boxes showed up, he goes, "Oh, something's wrong in the universe. I've never gotten so many gifts."
I like that. I like that he thinks it's better to, instead of drinking all the beers and just pretending he's never seen them, just give them like 4 beers instead of 6. Like, I only had 2.
No, he drank like 2 out of the case, so 24
Oh, it's
beers.
24.
But he rang my brother up at 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, and said, "Boxes keep appearing."
I like that he thinks it's terrorists. They're like, who can we get first? Let's see here. Gary. Let's get him. He'll send a message to Australia.
He sent my brother over. He sent him a cop to come over to the
That's
house.
so funny.
He wouldn't open them himself. And I only found out because my brother rang me up and went, "Bloody hell, don't send anything to fucking daddy. He bloody wakes me up in the morning. I had to go over there with a fucking Stanley knife."
All right. We have a new segment for Jack this week, huh? Brand new Jack segment?
New segment.
All right. What's it called?
It's called Life Hackett.
Life Hackets.
Like that.
Life Hackets?
Yeah, Life
Hackets.
Hackets.
Plural? All right.
Yeah, it's
Jim
like-
came
Well,
up with
you
the
only,
idea.
you only have one. You have more than one, right?
I
That's
came,
true, I do have-
came
I
up
do
with
have
this
more.
idea, right? The idea is, when you go online and your Facebook, they go life hack, and they show you how if you get the rings off a thing and then you put it on there, you can pot a plant or some shit.
Yeah.
There's always some way to, like, if you want to make ice cream sandwiches, you cut the actual ice cream tube so you get a perfect disc,
Yeah.
rather than try to. That's a life hack. There you
Life
go.
hack.
You
Jim
cut,
hack.
You cut. Oh, I didn't invent that, but I've used it. You
Right.
cut the thing and then you put it in the cookies and you get perfect ice cream discs.
Yeah, there's 100 incredible life hacks that make your life so easy. I'm just looking at, there was stuff with your cords, with your phones.
Yeah.
They always have those. You
Some of
don't
them
know,
aren't much easier. They're just kind of like a different way to do things.
But you're hacking life.
Yeah, hacking
Hacking
life.
life.
And then I thought, who isn't doing well at life and has the name Hackett?
Yeah.
Jack Hackett.
Yeah.
And so we'd like to hear some Jack hacks.
Wait, here's one. Let me. You want to get a pasta lighter?
A what?
Yeah, like this. This is not a life hack. This is a life hack. But if your burning candles are too low, you can't reach the wick.
Oh,
you light
yeah.
some
I've
pasta
done
on
that.
fire and you reach down in there.
Life hack.
Life
Yeah.
hack.
Remove highlighter stains with lemon juice.
A lot of it's cleaning based.
Yeah, you can cut holes in a PVC pipe and have dog food come out of it slowly in holes. Puppy slow feeder.
Yeah.
Or identify your keys at a glance by putting nail polish on them. There you go. There's some examples.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to acknowledge that we're all wearing glasses today.
Yeah, we're all wearing glasses. We can all see each other very well.
Now no one can tell us apart. I remember there were people were confused between you and
People
Forrest.
think-
Now we all have glasses.
I can see that if I shave my facial hair, I won't look so much like Forrest. But I can see we wear like LA hats and the same glasses.
I don't usually wear an LA hat. Today I was wearing all black, so I went with that. But I wear a grumpy hat.
Forrest has lost a lot of weight. I've gained a lot of weight. We're meeting in the middle.
I lost a lot. Then I've gained some back, and now I'm going the other way. It's been a real Oprah ride here. So minus the books and money.
All right, life hacks. Life hackets.
Do you have a song or a way you saying it?
We got some life hackets coming around. Life hacket.
Great.
Yeah, why are they coming around?
Yeah. Well,
You think your life hackets are people? They're going to visit
I'm
you?
coming around with my little truck going, hey, you guys need some tips.
It's like Mr. Rogers'
All right,
neighborhood.
so what's the thing that you life hack, Jack
send in
hack?
songs.
Bloody noses, number one. I used to get them all the time. I don't know if it's from picking or allergies, but it used to be when you get a bloody nose, you have to sit back and you pinch your bridge and you have to sit there till it stops bleeding.
That's how idiots used to do it.
Morons. What I did, I learned this from Star Trek. You take off some paper, you ball it up, you stuff it up your nose like a cork, and then you can go on with your day. I think you guys may have remembered me walking around the office like this.
Yeah, all the time. It was so
Hold on.
gross.
You learned this from Star Trek?
I saw it in Star Trek.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's brilliant.
Didn't you learn it just from corks?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I've seen
a
this.
tampon's a better life hack.
Right. Yeah. Tampon's the
too
same
big.
principle.
Nah,
No.
too big. But you can do this
No,
all the
you
time.
get a light flow tampon. You're not getting super plus.
Where am I gonna have a light flow tampon?
So-
There's
At
always
the store.
napkins
So
around.
your hacket of the week is plug things up.
Yeah. Just, you see morons all the time. Lean back, tilt your head back, pinch your bridge. No, here's the life hack at number 1.
I feel like
I
I've
do
never
a similar thing with diarrhea.
toilet paper, cork it.
I'll tell you what, Jack, you definitely don't look like a moron with that stuck up your nose. You're right.
Do you have any more? That's a good life hacket,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah,
That's
all right.
good. Then you can go
Send
on
your-
and keep walking around.
we have an applause?
Send your
sound effect we could
photos.
play?
Send your photos of yourself with a bloody nose, life hacking it to our one of our pages. We'd like to see.
Yeah.
You go. I got angry at my wife and life hack it.
All right. You went. Let's get a couple more.
Tape rolls.
Tape rolls.
Tape rolls. You know how sometimes you have that clear tape and you have to scrape for the end and you have
Oh,
to pick it up?
nothing bothers me more.
Yeah. What's your
Don't tell me
What
you
you
fold
do-
over the edge.
You fold over the edge. No one does it.
What do you mean? No, he doesn't. Jim literally just said he does it.
I guarantee you he doesn't do it. He may know about it, but I'm saying do it.
No, but I have you doing all my taping.
Well, there you go. Where do you think it started? Life
But
hack.
then the problem is when you use that tape, you got a bit that's hanging off the end. It's all folded over.
It's
You
wasteful.
cut that
off.
over with scissors. You cut that off with scissors, and then you
Yeah.
tape over another bit. You will lose an amount of tape with your folding,
You save
but
a
you'll
lot of
always
time.
find the end.
I actually usually just put it on a surface and put the end of the tape right there so that it sticks out, and then you pick it back up again and use it.
I use a piece of pasta. Stick it in there.
Light on fire.
Stick it under there.
These are good, Jack.
Yeah.
All right. Keep
My
going.
life is going to change.
Eating spicy food?
All right, forever. I have problems.
Yeah.
Then my
Come on,
ass
yeah.
gets sore. Don't tell me. Don't tell me, Jack.
Don't eat spicy food.
I think I know what he's going to do. Does it involve a freezer?
What?
Do you put do you put toilet paper in the freezer? That's a life hacket. That's a gym hacket.
Wow.
When
Why
you,
are you putting toilet paper in the freezer?
when you
Somebody
have
wipes his
have a
ass.
rather spicy curry and your hemorrhoids are playing up and you know it's going to be sting a bit,
No.
you put your toilet paper in the freezer. That's a gym hacket.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I have done that. Yeah, not recently, but
You have to go
back-
downstairs to your freezer and then.
Yeah, no. I don't do it. I don't do it in America because your Indian food sucks. But when I lived in Britain and the Indian food was off the hook, I was freezing toilet paper left, right, and center.
All right, Jack.
I was gonna say if you're lactose intolerant, you don't need to drink milk to help ease the heat in your mouth. Drink Coke. I figured that out myself, and then I looked it up online, and scientists have backed me up.
Huh. I always feel like carbonated beverages make everything feel spicier.
It's cola, and it coats your tongue. Water makes everything feel.
I know
spicier.
water, but does it have to be Coca-Cola or
It has to be a cola.
I don't know if I believe that one.
E-cola.
What are you talking about? I
Sounds
said
like
scientists back me up.
I don't
Sounds
believe in
like-
science.
All right,
Clearly.
so a lot of his life hacks are drink Coke.
You can see
Yeah.
the
Is
trend
this just a
going.
commercial?
Have you got any more, or should we go to the guest? You got one more?
They'll just give us your last best one. Then
I
we're
like
gonna-
this
we're gonna-
segment,
we're gonna do
though.
some- we gotta do
Yeah,
some
it's
ads.
fun.
All right, okay.
Oh, great news. We'll be doing this segment again. So
my best one, which will probably make me a little embarrassed because you're gonna make me do it, is I know how to take off a t-shirt really fast with one hand.
All right, do it.
Yeah.
I'll describe it first, and then I'll do it for the camera people. Okay, so what
Camera
you do,
Oh, the camera people.
you guys, camera A, camera B.
Yeah, like the Sand People, Tuscan Raiders.
So what you do is you take one sleeve and you'll slip your arm out, and then you just pull the rest over, and it slips off your arm, and you can dump it on the ground real quick.
You think that's
do it.
faster than regular?
Versus
I
like
pull
doing
it
this.
over my head like that.
Yeah, that's gonna take too long.
No, it won't.
I'm taking too long.
Check this
I've
out.
never been.
Shirt off
Check this out.
contest.
Wait. Let Jack do his
God.
first. Let's
No,
see-
we got a
No, God,
race.
they're racing.
No, but okay. But don't stand
Imagine
up.
if they both took their
Wait,
shirts
Wait,
off.
wait,
and
wait, hold on a second. I want to make
hands
sure.
on the
I
table,
want
okay.
to make sure you're both in frame, right? Standing up or sitting down?
No, sitting down. I don't want everyone
Okay.
to see.
Oh, wait,
me.
they're sitting down. They're going to be sitting down. Luis, we're all good. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give
hands
a
on the
count.
desk,
I'm going to
hands
give
on
a
the desk.
countdown here.
This is
I'm gonna-
picture.
I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and then I'm gonna say shirt. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, shirt. Jim's is off first.
I got caught on my wrist.
Yeah. Jim wins.
I get caught in your wrist. You can't say it's a hack. And then say, it's caught in your wrist sometimes.
I caught on my watch.
I think I teared my
Yeah,
neckline.
I practiced that too.
You're what?
I think my neckline made a stretchy noise. I love this shirt. It's my stripy T-shirt. It's my only one. It's when I go away from
Next
it.
week.
Stretch them out with my method.
Yeah, next week you get the hack on that. That's the how to fix your collars. All
That
right.
was,
was
I was
alarming.
really fast.
Yeah, you were really fast. I thought I was gonna get like a second of him doing it and then get part of yours, and I just panned to you, and you were already naked.
Yeah, but I had to use both of my pesky hands.
Yeah.
And Jack only used one, leaving his other hand open to have the T-shirt slide over it.
And then then it's in your hand. You can dump it off. I say it's pretty good. Look, it got caught on my watch. I practiced this maybe 10 times at home just to make sure it was good, but I didn't have my watch on.
Don't wear a watch.
Don't wear a watch.
Next life hack, don't wear a watch.
You don't need it. You got the sun.
Take your watch off first. Yeah, life hack. You don't need to buy an expensive watch. The time's on your phone. Save you a lot of money. Life hack.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's Life
boy.
Hack. Thanks, Jack, for your new segment.
Now it's time for some ads.
Yeah, let's layer some ads.
Green Chef is the first USDA certified organic meal kit company. Green Chef makes eating well easy and affordable with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, Armenian, or vegetarian. One of those wasn't a food. If you can pick it out, we'll send you a prize. Or just looking to eat healthier, there's a range of recipes to suit any diet or preference. Ingredients come pre-measured. What does that mean first?
That means they're already measured.
No, it's before the measurement. It means you have to measure them. These are pre-measured food. That means you will also have to measure. We didn't do it for
No. They come ready to go. All the ingredients are there, and then you just cook them. You don't have to like chop it into a certain amount of cup
super
or
easy.
whatever. Yeah,
Well, that's even better.
you don't need to measure.
So if you were mistaken like me, the food. Well, I should have written this. Ingredients come already measured.
Or pre-measured.
We're going around in a circle. Perfectly portioned and mostly prepped. So you can spend less time stressing and more time enjoying delicious home-cooked meals. Green Chef is the first ever, and they put an exclamation mark here, and only keto meal kit on the market. It makes sticking to a low-carb lifestyle easy with recipes averaging only 14 net carbs each. Fuck, I'm reading good today. Bring back the Jim Jefferies show. I'll get through this episode in 30 minutes. Jim Jefferies. I was thinking about myself. Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of its direct carbon emissions and plastic packaging in every box. So you get the plastic, right? They go, oh, we'll send you the plastic packaging, and then they kill a person who's using too much plastic.
No, that's not what that means.
But it's the gist of how they do it.
Zero carbon emissions, like that means that it just means it's good for the environment, that they're being conscious of that.
So you would argue that you can feel great about what you're eating and how it got to your table?
Sure.
That's good, because that's what it says here.
Yep.
Green Chef is so easy that I can have my son help me out in the kitchen without worrying he's going to screw up dinner. God, I can't tell you about the countless amount of times when Hank was helping me out in the kitchen and I had to slap the shit out of him because he was screwing up dinner. I was like, come here, you eight-hole. You've screwed up dinner again. Sometimes me and my wife would just sit at the table waiting for him. He'd be in the kitchen for about 40 minutes. He'd come out and he'd bring out a hot plate of food, spaghetti bolagnese or whatever he made, right?
We've
And
been
he-
for 4 hours.
yeah, he's the kid. And he'd bring it out and I'd look at him and then I go, is this what you call dinner?
Because the
Go to your
ingredients
room.
weren't pre-measured.
And then I go, this is slop. And I would smash it against the wall.
Wow.
And then I go, that's your job in the morning to clean it up. Sweet dreams.
Taking a dark turn.
Go to greenchef.com. I don't know 90. Why the 90? Good question. Thank you for asking. And use the code I don't know 90 to get $90 off. $90 off. That's probably a lot of the meals. You get a
would
lot of your
assume
meals
so,
for
yeah.
free, including what? So free shipping and $90 off. Green Chef, Green Chef. How do you make money? No one knows, but your food is so good. Go to greenchef.com/I don't know 90 and use the code I don't know 90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. And we thank them for sponsoring our podcast. On with the show.
Okay. Let's introduce our guest today. Please say hello to Richard Dawkins.
Oh, that's going to make the guess a lot easier.
Well, I always say the name.
Yeah, it's Richard Dawkins, the famous atheist.
Well,
I know he does other things. I'm a mildly famous atheist myself. I've been booked once, Richard, to do like an atheist convention. I don't believe you were there, but I will say this about the high-ranking atheists. They don't half like to look like God. There's a lot of them with white beards and long hair.
Oh, that's right. And Darwin himself, of course.
Everyone who denies God likes the look. You don't have the look. You don't look like God. How are you, Richard? Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I'm a big fan of yours. I've watched all your documentaries. I'd like to say I've read your books, but the last book I read was Chevy Chase's biography. And that was a long time ago before I heard about his reputation.
Well, I'm a big fan of yours as well.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Thank you. I haven't written any books. You're safe there.
yeah, and he said that to us yesterday when we were talking to him, so it's true. He's not just trying to be nice to you. So.
That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
So we are not talking about atheism today.
Well, we're not talking about nothing. Nothing's the easiest subject to talk about at all. The problem with atheism, it shouldn't have a name. It shouldn't be named anything. They'd just be called normals.
Right. Yeah, that's 100% true.
Well, Richard Dawkins is an expert in a field that led him, I guess, to being popular in the world of atheism and stuff. So, you have any idea what it is?
I don't know. I only know his atheist work, to be honest.
What type of people would be like? You know that I'm an atheist.
He's a professor.
Yeah,
right.
He's right there. You can.
Yeah,
I know
I know you're a professor, Richard. In your expertise, bloody hell, it would be history.
No. Think about what I used to do.
It's a kind of history.
Yeah. Think about what I used to do. I used to be.
Oh, you're an overeater.
I still do that. No, Richard Dawkins he's here to talk about evolution.
Evolution. All
yes,
right. I'm a bit more rickety on that than the atheism, to be honest with you.
The zoologist Richard Dawkins, FRS, was Oxford's first professor of the public understanding of science. He is a fellow of the Royal Society and also the Royal Society of Literature. His many honorary degrees from around the world include doctorates of literature as well as science. Among his 13 books, The Selfish Gene was recently voted in a Royal Society poll the most inspiring science book of all time. The God Delusion has sold more than 3 million legitimate copies.
Outside the Bible.
Yep. And a bootleg Arabic translation has been downloaded 13 million times, 3 million in Saudi Arabia alone.
Jeez.
His latest book is Outgrowing God, and Richard Dawkins also has a charitable foundation, the Richard Dawkins Foundation for Reason and Science. For more information, please visit richarddawkins.net and follow him on Twitter at Richard Dawkins. So there you go.
All right. We're up to date.
So this is how it's going. You know what's interesting about your bio, the bootleg versions, the Arabic translation, 13 million downloads, the God Delusion. And Saudi Arabia, you say 3 million alone. So does that lead us to believe there's a lot of...
Well, they can't sell them in print in the shops, I assume, right?
That's correct. And I'm very pleased about that 13 million because it does suggest to me there's a groundswell of opinion shifting in the Arab world.
Right.
Yeah, that was what was stuck out to me too, where I was like, oh, well, that's hopeful, I guess, because...
Yeah, they can't speak out in public as much, but there's people doing the research.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to talk about evolution today. Mr. Dawkins is what we discussed yesterday. I'm going to ask Jim to tell us everything he thinks he knows about evolution, ask him a few questions we have on the list here, and then we're going to see how he does. And then after that, you're going to grade him 0 to 10 on accuracy. Kelly's going to grade him on confidence, and I'm going to grade him on et cetera. 0 to 10 total, your primordial soup. 11 to 20, Chuck Darwin. 21 to 30, fully evolved. So
Chuck Darwin.
Yeah, that's in the middle. Yeah, you're just Chuck Darwin. Yeah. That's if he gets a middle score.
These are hard. I'm not envious of you.
All right.
So I'm going to ask him these questions, and then we'll get to you.
I got to remember primordial soup.
We'll get to you, Mr. Dawkins, and we'll see how Jim did, and we'll get the right answers.
I know the broad strokes, if that's what you want to know.
Oh yeah, what's evolution? How does it work?
Evolution is the beginning of life and how things have evolved into different creatures and how we've become man or woman or whatever.
You can't use the word evolved in describing what evolution is.
Oh, okay. Well,
what's evolution? It's how people evolve.
yeah. It's how people have animals have, I don't know the word, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like how they've moved from one thing to the other. And it started with the primordial soup, and there's like a sperm type thing in there, right? It's sort of mashed together to make life, right? And then that thing started to get legs, and then that crawled out a little bit. Okay. And then it crawled a bit more, and then it was on all fours. There's a missing link, they reckon, where they don't know.
So wait, I got soup, sperm, legs, all fours, missing
salamander-looking thing.
Okay, great.
Right?
I think you got that right.
Yeah.
The fish that could walk.
The fish that could walk. Yeah, the fish that could walk. There was a fish. It grew into a fish, and the fish could walk. And then the walking fish, it evolved a bit, became a bear.
Maybe we do have more with fish than you lead on, Jim.
Okay, is evolution a fact?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay.
But well, this is the thing. I assume there's people who would say it's not a fact, so that's a difficult one.
I'm asking you, like, what is
we are evolving. We have things like we have tailbones and shit on our body even now. You know what I mean? To prove that we've evolved, and you can tell from our teeth and whatnot.
Who's credited with the theory of evolution?
Darwin, Charles Darwin.
Okay.
Chuck.
Yeah. Chucky Dar.
Do you know what the name of his book was about evolution?
Yeah, I do know this. Green Eggs and Ham. No, it was the theory of evolution.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I don't know if you've ever gotten all the questions wrong. We'll see.
I'm not a big one on evolution. I believe in evolution. I just, I believe in computers. I don't know how to use them.
Do you know who Alfred Russell Wallace is?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's just move on from that.
No one's ever going to believe anything I say on stage anymore.
Let's shoot down the things there. Okay. What is the definition of species?
Species? What's the definition of species?
Like, what's a species?
A species is we've got different species. We're a species. A lion's a species.
You can't keep repeating that.
You can't use the word in its own definition.
It's the word to say what all the different things are. All the different living things are different species.
Okay, I'm just skipping down.
You're not meant to have interspecies sex.
I'm just skipping. Oh wait, here's the one I want to ask you.
I think that's the tidbit that goes in there.
You're
not supposed to fuck a dog.
Like
not
cousins.
supposed to.
Cousins are species. Species.
I'm gonna skip down. I want to ask you what natural selection is. I forgot to ask that.
Natural selection is how we hull the herd. The herd. Right, we cull the herd. we cull the herd, right? So if you got like you got like an animal, all the animals, you got the fast ones keep moving, and then the slow ones make the lion catch those antelopes before the other ones run away with their speed. So we weed out all the slow animals and all the shit animals. And in our society with humans, we're trying to save too many of the bad ones, and that's why we've grown so weak.
If Trump was going to describe to us what evolution is, this is what it would sound like right now. You literally sound like, what? And then you got the bad ones and the good ones.
There's some bad hombres out there.
And then we have great ones.
We're not going
to have good ones. There's good ones on both sides.
I'm going to ask you just a couple more questions because then we're going to have Richard Dawkins help us with the answers.
What if he doesn't know the answers? That's going to be embarrassing for
good luck describing what a species is.
Really hope he does. Here, okay, 1, 2. I'll ask you 3 more questions, maybe 4. Do you know how many different species have lived on this planet, and how many we currently have? How many?
Oh, there's tens of different species, like lots and lots of tens.
Now, how many total ever in existence? Extinct ones? And
I would say 1 million different species.
1 million. And how many live on the planet right now? Different species.
We're finding new ones. We're finding new ones all the time.
There's different
if you take the insects out, there's too many of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
If you just bring it down to primates and fish and land animals, there's probably 900,000 at the moment. We've probably lost a few.
Wait, so 900,000 and 1 million total. Got it.
Well, 1 million total because we get all these ones that get endangered, we lose them, and then we go, oh look,
a new one.
There's a new one every year. There's a bug that comes into my house where I go. That's one I haven't fucking seen, right? You'll have like a cockroach, and then you'll see one of them, and it'll start flying around the room. You go, they're flying now. When did the flying ones come in?
I don't know if they're new. They're just new to you.
They're new to me, but
you should write a book.
There was a bird in my backyard that was 5 foot tall the other day. I had to send a picture to Forrest, and what was it?
Oh, that was the heron.
Pelican.
It was a heron.
Yeah,
Oh, I've
It
seen that
was
thing flying around
It
your
was
house,
a
yeah.
fucking giant. It was walking around like in my backyard like a dinosaur, and that was a new animal.
Yeah.
And I got me British wife and me.
But it's not. People have seen the herons.
No, we'd never seen one.
No.
Have I ever told you about the story when I saw my first chipmunk? Not chipmunk, squirrel.
What?
I saw my first squirrel. Okay, so I was living in England. I grew up in Australia where there's no squirrels.
Yeah.
Imagine a world with no squirrels. You can't imagine it, can you? So Australia, no squirrels. I'd been out to a rave.
You don't even say it right. That's how much we know you've never seen squirrels.
Squirrels. So there's no squirrels, right? So I come back from a rave, right? So I was coming down off some ecstasy tablets. This is 20 years ago. Things were different.
Yeah.
And I'm walking through this field. I'm walking through this park to get back to my house, and all the kids are going to school in the morning with their parents. And I see a squirrel, and this squirrel is like fucking cliche. It's like holding a nut, and it's like eating a nut and all that type of stuff. And I'd never seen one. I'd only ever seen cartoon ones, and it was magical. And I went and looked at it and went, oh man! And there was this group of kids walking to school with their parents, and I thought the kids would enjoy seeing a squirrel because you know how adorable it was. And I yelled at British children who see squirrels on the daily. I yelled at them, hey kids, come over here. There's a squirrel. The parents couldn't have made them walk through the park quicker.
Yeah. That's a rapist.
So that's one species, squirrels.
Yeah. 899,990, whatever. Okay. Do you know what the Scopes trial is, or the Scopes monkey trial?
No, I know that there was a monkey that washed up ashore in Britain, up in the north near Sunderland or Hull or something like that, and they're called monkey hangers because they thought it was a Frenchman, and it fell off like a circus boat or something like that, and they hung the monkey, and that was a monkey trial. You know about that one, Mr. Dawkins, right?
Never heard that. Call me Richard, please.
Richard, all right. Yeah, there was they call them monkey hangers up in. Sounds a lot worse than it is.
Moving on.
Up in the north of England. Someone correct me, write to me and tell me what that real story is.
Okay.
There was a monkey trial in the north of England when one washed up on the shore.
Yeah, we should bleep that.
Here's one you might know. What is creationism?
Creationism is people who believe that God just made Adam and made Eve, and then they fucked, and now we got people, and we got different multicultural people and all this type of stuff. Because all of our races have something to do with evolution, with where the temperature and shit like that. Like white people aren't meant to be living in Australia. The sun's horrendous. You know what I mean? Like there's things like that. English people fit in the rainy little rocks off the side of Europe where they walk around. That's where they're meant to live.
Okay. One last question. Percentage of people that believe in evolution.
Oh, it's going to be terrifyingly low.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be terrifyingly low because a lot of people believe in God and they don't believe that we came from monkeys or we didn't evolve in any way. So I'm going to say 20% of people believe in evolution.
20%.
Yeah, it might be higher, but it's not going to be like 80% or something because too many religious people. And the poorer country you come from, the less education you have, the more religious you are. Because you have to believe in something. So all of those sort of third world countries, I don't believe they're probably getting on the evolution train at all.
Okay. And we evolved from monkeys? You said that, right?
We evolved from monkeys, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're primates.
All right. Richard Dawkins, thank you for sitting there. Listen to Jim's answers on...
Few more things to tell your students.
There's some other questions I'd like to get to that. You know, we sent you a list of things, but there was no point in beating that horse to death right there with Jim there. But
there's another species, horses.
on the scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best, how did Jim do in his knowledge of evolution?
About 6. But a bit less for political correctness.
6. Wow. I think he's being very
Was
nice.
I politically correct there, was I?
No.
It might have been the monkey hanger.
Oh, no.
Definitely not.
Okay.
No, it was an actual monkey. They look up the story, Jack, when you get a chance. There was a monkey that was hung up in the north of England.
Stop
saying it. Louise is going to have to bleep so many things. I'm just kidding.
All right. Confidence. How do you do, Kevin?
3.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
That's being generous.
All right.
-2 and etc.
Okay.
So you're a primordial soup there. You're
That's
just going to
all right.
school at an 8. All right. Thank you for being here, Richard Dawkins. What is evolution? How does it work? Jim said soup, sperm, legs for. I mean, you heard what he said.
Pretty good summary. It's a pretty good summary. I mean, it's how we all got here, starting from something like bacteria, actually more primitive than bacteria, and then becoming more and more complex, more and more diverse. And he had a nice little story about the fish coming out of the water, which I enjoyed. That was fun.
So that's where he got most of his points, probably.
Yeah.
This
The walking fish turned into a bear.
The walking fish, you see it swims out and then it goes all the little legs and it walks out a little bit. It doesn't go straight to bear.
Okay.
By the way, the creature you saw, Jim, the creature you saw in your garden, the heron, is a dinosaur.
Boom, dinosaurs.
Birds are dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the dinosaurs, I'll tell you how dinosaurs were killed off in Australian education in the 1980s, right? I believe in the meteorite theory and an ice age and that sort of stuff. You know what we were told in school in Australia? That the carnivores ate all the plants, and then the herbivores ate all the plants, and the carnivores ate all the herbivores, and then everyone was out of food. the end.
Pretty simple.
That's what they taught us in school about dinosaurs.
Well, did we evolve from monkeys? Is that correct?
We have evolved from creatures that would have been called monkeys if we'd seen them today, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
That's one of my points.
I threw that for you there.
Yeah, I knew we came from monkeys. Everyone's been to, like, at the zoo, they have, like, at Taronga Park Zoo in Sydney, they have, like, the monkey enclosure, and then they have the man, the man, evolution
That's
of
like
man.
the most famous photo of evolution is coming
Evolution
from
of
a
man,
monkey.
where he sort of walks forward, yeah.
Okay, I asked Jim if evolution is a fact. He said yes.
It is, yes, without a shadow of a doubt, it is a fact. Jim was a bit equivocal about that. He thought he was a bit dubious because some people don't believe that, but they're just wrong.
No, it's wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
Fact.
And so
Take that, you're sitting in your car right now believing in God, getting all huffy puffy.
I asked
You can believe in God, and it's not an either-or thing. At least Vickers will tell you that.
Well, is there many religious people who do believe in evolution, or is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
So, but the Bible doesn't believe in evolution, right? The Bible doesn't.
No, but those religious people don't believe in the Bible.
Right,
They
okay.
think it's all metaphorical or something like that.
Yeah, there's
Symbolic.
a lot of girls in this town who aren't religious, but they're very spiritual. That's what they tell you on the first date.
Right, because they're into crystals or
Yeah, their first sentence.
astrology.
Even worse. They're even worse.
I used to work with a guy. I was a biologist, and I used to work with a guy who was also a biologist, and he was very religious. And he used to go on what do you call it when you try to recruit people in the religion? When you go to other countries and you try to
Scams.
When you become missionaries.
Yeah, there you go. So he used to do that. So he was very religious, but he was also studied biology. And I said, well, what about fossil records? And he said that fossils were put there by God to test your faith. That's like a.
If God's real, he sounds
Prove
like
that
a
fact
fucking
wrong.
asshole.
It just seems like such an elaborate plan to sort of
Yeah.
to make up dinosaurs.
It's like a bad prank.
Yeah, I hope they dig right here. That'd be good. I asked him who's credited with the theory of evolution. He said Charles Darwin. The name of the book was Green Eggs and Ham or The Theory of Everything.
Theory of evolution.
Theory of Evolution. Theory of Everything was that movie.
No, that's not right. The Origin of Species, on the Origin of Species.
Oh, The Origin of Species. Yeah. That's a bloody book.
Yeah.
He's not the bloke who Darwin in Australia is named after. That was a botanist. It was a different fella, right?
Oh, the city of Darwin, the town?
The city of Darwin's named after the botanist that was on the Captain Cook's boat, who went and when they discovered Australia, he walked around and he went, oh, this is a blah, blah, blah plant, and he did all that type of stuff. Oh. But Darwin, the city's not named after Darwin there.
Oh, I just assumed it was.
Yeah, it's different people.
Oh.
I think.
Sounds like they did similar things.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same.
Copycat Darwin.
How long ago was Darwin? The real Darwin?
Well, the book was published in 1859.
1851.
So a bit ago.
He's got to be really old by now.
All right, well, 1788 was Australia, so this other Darwin was before that.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
maybe it was the same bloke.
I'm looking it up right now, but So is Charles Darwin, he is considered the father of evolution? Is that correct? Or is that?
Yes, without a doubt, yes. Wallace discovered it at the same, well, a little bit later, but Wallace actually deserves the credit for independently discovering the principle of natural selection, evolution by natural selection. That was going to be your next question.
So
Yeah,
they're like
Alfred Russell Wallace is what I asked Jim, and you need to know who that was.
So they're like Edison and Tesla. They were like around the same time.
Yes, they were, and Wallace was a bit younger, and Darwin actually thought of it about 20 years before Wallace, but Wallace published it, or Wallace sent his manuscript to Darwin. And then Darwin realized that although he hadn't published it, Darwin realized that Wallace was going to scoop him. And so he was a bit worried about that. And it all ended up in a rather gentlemanly way. And a paper by Darwin and by Wallace were read at the Linnean Society in London at the same time. So they got equal credit for equal priority. But it's very clear that Darwin got there first. And then Darwin wrote the book a year later. That all happened in 1858. Darwin wrote the book in 1859. And that was the thing that really made the difference. That was the thing that really won people over. So Darwin does deserve the credit.
Was it widely accepted as soon as Darwin did it, or did it take a while to get into the zeitgeist?
Not immediately, but it became, it took a while.
And you said clergyman?
Surely the town of Darwin must be named after Charles Darwin.
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
I looked it up. Yeah, it was named after Charles Darwin because it was in honor. They said they were named it Port Darwin in honor of their shipmate Charles Darwin, who had sailed with them on the ship's previous voyage. And so he was the HMS Beagle sailed in Darwin Harbor, and they named it after him because
but he was on Captain Cook's boat. Darwin.
Yeah. No, this is John Clement Wickham sailed into the harbor when they discovered it.
Yeah,
they named it after Darwin because they had been on Captain Cook's boat with him.
Right, but that means that Darwin would have been like 70-something years old when he wrote the book.
No.
Huh?
Darwin was not on Captain Cook's boat.
Oh, jeez.
Wait.
Tell me the dinosaurs died because they ran out of food.
No. I'm sorry. I'm misreading this. So it says on September 9th, 1839, the HMS Beagle sailed into Darwin Harbor, what is known as Darwin Harbor now.
Oh, so it's a different Darwin.
Yeah, and they named the region Port Darwin in honor of their former shipmate, Charles Darwin, who had sailed with them on the ship's previous voyage. So I guess he was on the HMS Beagle with them on the previous voyage.
You know the irony of all this? If you've ever been to Darwin, it's the last place that evolution has hit. Like, how dare that town name itself after...
Well, he's got one town. That's it. So.
Yeah, it's still just crocodiles. It's still the town of dinosaurs.
Yeah, we're hoping it's going to get to us one of these days.
You were saying some clergymen did accept it when it first came out?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay. I thought everyone would be against it, but all right. There's some questions I didn't ask you, but these are... we'll ask you, what is natural selection? And you said, cull the herd. Cull the herd. He kept saying that over and over.
Yeah, culling the herd. To make the more powerful genes come through. It's basically I won't talk anymore.
Yeah, well, Richard?
No, but it's very important because it is what drives evolution. It's why things change in a positive direction, why things get better. It's why animals are well adapted to what they do.
Is this true that when your hands or like your body's underwater for a long period of time, we get the wrinkles in our fingers because that's a part of like evolution or natural selection, where if we were underwater, it would be easier to grip things?
It's when your hands are wet, so your hands don't slide, so you got grippy hands. That's what I heard.
Is that true?
I doubt it.
Dang it!
I've told that to my son, man.
That's always my bar fact, my dinner party fact.
Is it true that what you got hairy armpits for? So when you're swinging on vines, the sweat doesn't drip down to your waist.
Yeah, our hairy nipples important too.
Yeah, we just want to know why there's hair on our bodies, man.
In weird spots.
All right, so you're saying no to all those, Richard.
Oh, no, it's weird.
The hairy armpits is more likely to be something to do with smell, I think.
Oh,
well, it
keeps the smell in there.
Yeah, throws it out.
All right, and then genetic variation. I didn't even ask you about that, Jim, or any of the genetics. Genetic drift, mutation, these are all things.
Genetic variations is like how we're genetically very close to monkeys.
Anyways.
and then we vary ever slightly to become humans.
Richard, what is genetic variation? And why is it important to evolution?
It's not what Jim just said.
Big surprise.
Well,
Genetic variation is what the important aspect of it is what matters within a species, variation within a species. So people have blue eyes, brown eyes, red hair, black hair, white hair, etc. And it's this kind of variation which is the raw material for natural selection. So natural selection within a species chooses those genetic variants which are most successful at surviving and reproduction. So genetic variation is immensely important for the whole process of natural selection.
And so, because we humans, that we've evolved over time, and now we have all of this technology and medicine and things that can prolong people's lives, that
we're not culling the herd anymore.
now I'm saying that. So, do you think this will affect, or it has affected, the evolution of the human species, Homo sapiens? That
we keep curing everything.
Technology and
It must do to some extent, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I always dread that question because you sound like a fascist if you say that it's a bad thing, and I always have to say, I always like to say that I like medical science. I like doctors and.
Oh no, I'm all for it. My genetic pool has been pissed in several times, and if it was just left up to evolution, I'd be the first one culled from the herd. I'm 40 years old. I got arthritis all through my hands. I shouldn't be here.
you got glasses now too. I have glasses.
I got glasses. I can't see shit, and I got arthritis. I'm 43.
I've only had glasses in the last 4 or 5 years, and I used to be like, I have great vision, and now if I didn't have glasses, I would get eaten by a lion back in the day or something now.
But we are living a little bit too long, right? We're not meant to live this long. That's why marriage is silly.
Yeah, it's probably true that we wouldn't have lived long enough to need glasses in the wild.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to see anything.
Yeah,
Because you get ate up.
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have to work out as much either if I want to live longer. I'm not really doing that anyway.
Oh no, you've got the body of a man who should have reached its life expectancy.
The modern medicine and cars.
Yeah, no one looks at me naked like this guy can hunt.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
He's a gathering type.
I didn't mean to say that, Richard, either. I'm definitely pro science and pro medicine and all of that. I just think it's interesting. But okay, so what about something like genetic drift or mutation? Can you talk about either one of those?
Are you asking me or Jim?
You,
no, I don't know. They've given up on me.
We're done trying to learn from him today.
Modification and drifting.
Modification.
Natural selection is not the only reason why things evolve. Genetic drift is another reason. That's random genetic change. So although the natural selection is the interesting kind of genetic change, that's the genetic change that leads to improvement. Genetic drift is just random, and it can be very important. And it's controversial quite how important, but it probably is quite important. But you need to understand that that genetic drift cannot produce improvement.
So how slowly or quickly are we evolving? And is there a time where humans will be completely different than they are now? Like I don't have 12-year-old molars. I was born without them, and they could tell from an X-ray when I was a child, right? And so does that mean that I'm higher up in evolution than people who have them?
Well, it's probably true that wisdom teeth are on the way out, and so in that one respect and that one respect only,
yes,
you are.
Yes, all right. but is there something that you can foreshadow that we are going to be like? Not foreshadow, foresee. Is it, the appendix will go. The spleen, that seems like a useless fucking thing. No, every time someone's in a car accident, they get rid of the spleen.
You can't predict, and it's particularly difficult with humans to predict because we are now so feather-bedded, as you said earlier, Forrest. We are so feather-bedded that natural selection, in the ordinary sense of survival of the fittest, is kind of slowed down. So it's not possible to say, in 3 million years' time, we'll be more brainy or something like that. You can't say that.
But our skin with like the ultraviolet rays and the hole in the ozone layer, is our skin getting tougher? This is what I would like. I would like my little finger to grow into a bottle opener. Is that on the horizon?
That would be good. Pterodactyls had one finger. It wasn't the little finger; it was the ring finger, the fourth finger that grew enormous, and that supported the entire wing of the creature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they have the little. You could see it on the wing. Well, I didn't see it live, but when they reproduce them. Oh, okay. The survival of the fittest. Jim asked you who came up with this phrase. I didn't ask you that. Who came up with that? Survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest. That would have been probably Joe Buck doing some commentary.
Don't know. Yeah, survival of the fittest people always equate with natural selection, but it's not really the same thing.
Well, it is the same thing, but Darwin didn't think of it. It was Herbert Spencer who coined that phrase, and Wallace actually persuaded Darwin to adopt it. And Darwin did adopt it, but it was Herbert Spencer who first thought of it.
Okay. And who was Herbert Spencer? He
was a philosopher in the mid-19th century, and he was very keen on evolution. He didn't really understand it very well, but he was very keen on it.
Yeah.
I hear him.
Yeah. Well, survival of the fittest, it does make for a better hat. That's
yeah, survival of the fittest.
The merch is solid.
Who said live long and prosper? That was Vulcans.
I think it was Spock. Yeah,
Spock.
Okay. Definition of species. Jim said
species. They are species.
I don't remember what he
There's
said.
There's different species. There's different animals. We're not all the same animal, Forrest. I know that in your world we're all the same, but we're not the same. Lions are different to us. I have cats. They don't take care of me.
A species is a group of animals that can reproduce with each other.
Is there animals that can't reproduce with each other?
Yeah.
Who?
You don't understand.
How do we get them?
Wait a minute. You cannot reproduce with another species. That's the point.
Oh, right. Oh, with each other.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I thought you were really losing it. Like you can't have sex with a dog and make
I
another
thought there was like
human.
species that can't reproduce. And I'm like, how do they even exist then?
How do we explain cat dog then?
Well, there's
what about ligers? Ligers are tigers and lions. How can they do it?
As you would expect, there are borderline cases, and so you'd expect that closely related species can occasionally reproduce, but they don't reproduce in a fertile way.
Right. I always look at dogs when you see crossbreeds of dogs. Sometimes I'm like, that dog shouldn't have had a go with that dog.
It's like a pit bull and a corgi.
It's a Doberman Chihuahua. And you're like, what happened there?
I asked Jim what is the estimated number of different species that have lived on this planet ever? He said 1 million.
It's going to be way more.
And I didn't ask him what percentage of those are extinct. And then how many different species are estimated to exist on the planet currently? He said 900,000. How's he doing?
Okay, the number that have ever existed, it's impossible to know, but the estimates tend to be up in the many billions.
Right. So I was a bit out.
You must be wrong on that.
Yeah.
The number of species alive today, estimates range from about 6 million to about 30 million.
Jesus.
Well, we can lose a few then. Every year they want me to donate money to keep some of these species around. We've got 30 million of the bloody things.
You were right about insects. You needed to hive off insects. My colleague Bob May said rather nicely, he's an Australian, very distinguished Australian biologist, who said to a first approximation, all species are insects.
All right. Yeah. Insects. Look, I know every species contributes something, but it feels like some contribute less than others.
Like, what do you contribute?
Well, I pay taxes, so I make sure there's no potholes in our streets and all that type of stuff, and that puts out fires. That saves animals. So you're welcome, animals. I take care of 2 cats.
That is a great contribution to the world.
There's no cats who take care of me.
So I don't know. Are there? I feel like if humans went extinct, it would be the one animal. This is what I always say. If humans went extinct, it's the one animal, if they went extinct, that the planet would probably be better off overall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just saying. I don't know, Richard.
Does the planet need humans? That's a good question. Are we necessary to the life on Earth, or are we just a hindrance?
Of course, we're not necessary.
Yeah.
We weren't here for the vast majority of the history of the world. When you say, what do they contribute? What does it mean by contribute? I mean, you were implying that insects don't contribute anything. They contribute to their own survival. They contribute to their
Yeah.
And sometimes they feed other animals, and they probably do something like, obviously bees and shit are very
You just don't like
important.
insects because they're bothering you.
Yeah, they're bothering me. Yeah.
How are they bothering you?
They bite you and stuff. and you got to pay to get them out of your house. I got fucking ants. If I leave like a fucking just a drop of Coca-Cola on a bench or something, then my whole house is flooded with ants. It's a constant struggle.
Yep.
I saw something years ago that said like if all humans died off, it would take the Earth a very short amount of time to basically grow over and make it appear as if we never existed. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm just wondering if he's like if that's an actual thing.
No, I mean it's a guess, but I think it's a very good guess. Yes.
Okay.
And the thing about extinction. So I know it's all estimates. So billions of species have lived on this planet, and estimated, I forget what you said, 15 to 30 or 60 million now. So and there's been extinction periods. I forget how many of those extinction periods. I think 5 or 6.
Yes, mass extinction. I mean, extinction goes on all the time, but there are certain particularly drastic episodes, mass extinctions. The extinction of the dinosaurs was a big one, 65 million years ago, and there was an even bigger one at the end of the Permian. So there are these mass extinctions, and it's said that humans are now contributing to another mass extinction.
And how old is the Earth versus how old religious people think the Earth is? I always get these figures.
The Earth is about 4.5 billion years old.
Right.
And, creationists think that the Earth is about 6,000 years old.
So we have some room to compromise.
We need to reach across the aisle here.
Still got that new planet smell. Like, love it. Yeah. Okay. So it's believed, or it's that we're going through an extinction period that's being accelerated by humans now. Is that what you're saying? Is that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
What?
That's a dramatic way of saying that humans are responsible for a lot of destruction.
What do you think it will be our ultimate demise, and when do you think it might happen?
Well, the ultimate demise of the Earth itself will happen when the sun swells in about 5 billion years' time.
All right, good. Good. Happy with that.
But most species have gone extinct. So if we went the way of the majority of species, we would go extinct fairly soon. It may be that we won't. I mean, we do have the technology to possibly avoid the causes of extinction that have happened before, even maybe the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. So it may be that we won't go extinct, at least not that quickly. Eventually,
it is funny when you think, oh, the sun will swell in 5 billion years and the Earth's gone. Right now, we're like, yeah, no problem. But there will come a time, if there is some sort of life that is self-aware, as that gets closer, then there'll be deniers. It's like, 20 years left till the sun goes. Nope, not happening.
There's suns that are exploding through the universe all the time, right?
Yeah, no, but there'll be a countdown clock.
Finally, all those emails my crazy uncle sends will come true. The world will implode.
I was just 600
It'll
years
be like,
off.
I fucking told you.
This is a bit off it. How you believe in alien life forms? I'd assume.
Almost certainly, I think yes, because the universe is so huge and the number of planets, the number of stars is so great. It's now known that the majority of stars do have planets. And so, yes, I think it's highly probable that there is alien life. On the other hand, it's equally probable we shall never know about it because the universe is so large, as I say, and by the same token, it's very unlikely that any one form will ever see any other form because it will be so spaced out.
But if they do come and visit us, and they have the exact same Bible we have, will you admit you're wrong?
They won't come and visit us.
Well,
He's like, I'll make sure of it.
Right, well, I'm putting that out there.
A former Israeli general came out recently and said that we have a contract, the United States and Israel have a contract signed with aliens, with the Galactic Federation, and that we know about aliens, that they exist, and they're experimenting. We signed a contract with them.
That's why you know that on camera, Jack.
Just saying, that's news. That's news right now.
Yeah, it's you're bothering our guest, Jack.
Ignore the facts.
I asked Jim what the Scopes trial. We don't want to even know what his answer was. The Scopes monkey trial. What was that?
In
No, not you.
1925, there was a trial in Tennessee, I think it was,
Right.
it was a rather put-up trial. A young teacher called Scopes was incited to start teaching about evolution, which was against the law at the time, and so he was prosecuted, and he was found guilty, but it was generally regarded as a victory for our side, so to speak, even though technically speaking, Scopes lost his trial. It was rather a famous thing because two very famous lawyers went to Tennessee, went to this little town, and one was William Jennings Bryan, who was a presidential candidate, and the other was Clarence Darrow, who was a very, very famous lawyer. And so these very, very high-powered lawyers went and advocated in this little town.
Yeah, I was just looking up Dayton.
Dayton, Tennessee. It was.
Yeah.
Dayton.
Yeah, wow. I've never heard of that. I've been to Tennessee. So.
Is it still illegal to teach it in parts of America, or has that all been cleared up?
No, it's not. But there are all sorts of court cases keep coming up, and when they try to restrict the teaching of evolution and try to make it equal time for creationism, or as they sometimes call it, intelligent design.
Is there anywhere where creationism is illegal to teach?
I don't think so.
There's an argument for that.
Yeah.
You can say it, but you can't say it as a fact. I imagine.
Okay, well, I asked Jim what creationism is, and he said people that believe in God. I guess this is how
they just believe the Adam and Eve theory that God made the world in 7 days or 7 sections. What do the religious people do? They always move their story as more information. Oh, well, it wasn't 7 days; it was 7 periods, And then you go, all right, Adam and Eve, and then they had 2 sons, and they just found some women in the forest or some shit.
Yeah. So there's creationism, intelligent design. Those are all in that same lot, right? That's the intelligent design. Yeah. Sorry.
No, they're the same thing. The phrase intelligent design was invented as a kind of cover when creationism became unfashionable because of various legal cases. They gave a name to intelligent design.
A PR stunt.
Oh, yeah. You put intelligent in it, and then you think, I don't want to go against that.
Right.
There you go. My genius theory.
And this
stupid evolution or the intelligent design.
And this was a question I didn't ask you, Jim, but it's kind of relates to us. What is the book of pandas and people about? So this is like
this is a topic that actually is black and white.
So stupid.
But this was a book they wrote, or is this a book the creationists wrote, or
Yeah, it's a creationist book. As a matter of fact, it's quite an interesting point about intelligent design. Early editions of the book used the word creationism. And then when that became difficult for legal reasons, they wanted to change it to intelligent design. So they got their word processor, they got their Microsoft Word, whatever it was, and they did a global search and replace, and they changed creationism to intelligent design. But they made a mistake in one place. And I actually wrote it down somewhere. Yes, it appeared as C design proponentsists. So obviously what happened was that they were doing a global search and replacing creationist with intelligent design, and they bungled it at one point. So it came out as design proponentsists.
Morons.
Well, I didn't ask this. How long have humans been evolving, Jim? How long did the Homo sapiens? How long ago did Homo sapiens come to be?
So 6 billion years. You said 6 billion years for the planet, right?
Four-
6 billion for the planet.
4.5 billion.
4.5 billion. 4.5 billion. So there was the dinosaurs, and then I'm going to say that we've been evolving for 1.8 billion years.
1.8 billion, and Homo sapiens have. How long ago did Homo sapiens come to be? What we are?
We've been like this for 800 million years.
How's that?
It It depends how you define it, because since we're gradually changing all the time, it's a rather arbitrary decision when you decide to start calling it Homo sapiens. I mean, the previous species would have been called Homo erectus. And
But too many people giggled.
That's too sexy.
as for when the first Homo sapiens came into existence, you could say, I don't know, maybe 200,000 years, something like that.
Oh, okay. So I was way out.
Yeah, pretty recent. Pretty recent.
Is there now, this question is going to sound stupid, but I want to know: is there a scenario where another species out evolves us, like a Planet of the Apes scenario? Not the apes. It could be any animal. Pick your poison.
Dolphins.
Well, it could happen, but it doesn't seem very likely because we're here. I mean, if we went extinct, then I suppose it could happen then.
I don't know. I saw Jack at a fair being beaten by a chicken at tic-tac-toe.
It practiced, all right? I was rusty.
Yeah, it would, music. I always think music is like whenever you ask what humans have, something that humans can do that no other animals can do, you know?
Oh, if they find a dog that can play the piano or something like that, it's winning America's Got Talent all day.
Oh, for sure.
And every year they go, I have a dog that can play a thing. And it's just a dog bashing its head into a keyboard, and it's not really making music.
Well, now the big thing is like teaching your dogs how to speak using buttons, and so there are dogs now that can speak in full sentences to tell their owners what they want, like whether they want to go outside or have a treat or whatever. It's awesome to watch, but terrifying.
You got the elephants that can paint.
Mm-hmm.
They give an elephant a paintbrush and
Dolphins.
off they go.
The place when I worked at, the dolphins would paint stuff too.
Yeah, the
Same
dolphins
thing.
would paint stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the animal kingdom have got painting down. They've got painting.
Yeah.
They can act dead. They've got acting down.
They can do sign
More
language.
than any actor I've met.
Music.
You know?
It's all music. They don't
Music. They can't do music.
Yeah.
Would you say that's right, Richard? That the animals can't do music?
Well, what about birdsong?
Ah, shit! Forgot about the fucking birds.
Yeah,
There's
birds.
no land animal, and I'm including penguins. I've never seen them bloody hum a tune.
I bet you
either.
could teach monkeys how to play instruments, though.
Yeah, the symbol one. Bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, bing.
You couldn't actually teach the actual band the monkeys.
All right. Didn't ask you this, Jim, but I will now. What is the significance of the Archaeopteryx? Do you know what that is? I might be mispronouncing it. I think I'm saying Archaeopteryx.
The Archaeopteryx.
Archaeopteryx.
He knows what it is. Yeah.
That's it right there. See that word?
Yeah, the Archaeopteryx. It's there's new animals ready to go in the Arctics, and when the planet shifts, they'll be the new force.
They're going to come out of the cracks.
When the planet goes
Take
like
over.
that, because Australia was joined to Asia and all type of stuff, and then we all separated, the land separated. When it moves its axis, all those Arctic animals are going to come out. If I'm right on this, fuck me.
Yeah. How do you do, Richard?
That's not quite right. Archaeopteryx is a famous fossil. It's intermediate between birds and what were called reptiles, but since birds are reptiles, it's probably the earliest bird.
Right. So
it's a bird. It had feathers, but then lots of dinosaurs had feathers. It had wings. It could fly. It had teeth, unlike modern birds, and it had a great big long tail, unlike modern birds. So it's kind of intermediate.
And it was like a link to help prove evolution?
yeah, raptors are birds. They reckon the same structure as a bird. How? I don't know if you know a lot about dinosaurs, but I assume you know way more about them than me. Why? How do we know that the dinosaurs got that leathery skin, or what color it is, or what voice it has? Is this all guesswork?
We don't know.
We don't know. Right, good. Right, because the T-Rex could have just come up and gone, woof, woof. It'd be like a big dog.
I mean, it was certainly a carnivore. It was a very ferocious carnivore. But as for what color it was, we don't know that.
But like, even the skin, can you tell it had like a leathery skin, or that it could have been covered in, like, as you said,
Actually,
feathers?
It probably had feathers.
Really?
Yeah. See, you thought I was going down a bad path there. Interesting answer.
That's not as scary for Jurassic Park if it had
Yeah.
feathers.
Well, birds are terrifying. Like big
like
birds
birds.
are terrifying.
Yeah,
They're
them.
vicious.
Or
Geese.
maybe because we see crocodiles, we can assume that because crocodiles were around and they have the leathery dinosaur skin, so maybe they're doing the guesswork off that.
They found some dinosaur skin frozen and shit.
What are you talking about? They found some frozen dinosaur skin.
They found it when they signed the contract with the aliens.
Yeah. Might have been alien skin.
Have they ever found frozen dinosaur skin, Richard? No.
So.
Those are dino nuggets, Jack.
Sorry, I've just been
let's
eating
move
the
on.
breading off the nuggets. Or I'll find that story.
I didn't ask
Right,
this.
but
Jim, I'll ask you this right now. What is DNA and how does it relate to evolution?
DNA is.
Do you know what it stands for? If you don't, that's fine. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's the genetic makeup of every living thing on Earth.
And how does it relate?
And everyone's DNA. Oh God, I watched a thing with my kid on this, where they on Storybots where they explained it very. There's like 3 different letters, and they're putting different combinations. And into a spiral, 4 different letters put into combinations into a spiral, and those combinations just tweaked over and over and over and over and over again, and that is our genetic makeup.
How's that, Richard?
That's about right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty good, huh?
yeah. Thank you,
I
Storybots.
gave him the 4 letters, just to be clear, though. I held up 4 fingers.
That's only, look, the people on YouTube could know that. The downloaders didn't need to know that.
Well, and remember in Jurassic Park, they had that cartoon. Hi, I'm DNA.
Yeah.
Dino DNA.
So DNA is a pretty recent discovery.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know who discovered it? I mean, it's not even in here, but do you know, Jim?
Someone called Dana.
I think it was 2 guys. I don't remember their names, though. So.
Dave and Alan, DNA.
Dave and Alan.
What
like
were their
Guns N' Roses.
what were their name? I read a book on them, Richard, years ago. I don't remember their names now.
Watson and Crick.
Watson and Crick, yeah.
Elementary, my dear.
I read a book on them. They were like partiers. They seemed to be, they liked a good drink. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. Yes. yes.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get themselves off a case where some girl didn't wake up.
They're like, you got DNA. Okay, I asked him percentages of people that believe in evolution. He said about 20%. Do you have that information?
I think that's about right, probably. In America, anyway. I hope it's higher in Britain, but I'm not sure about that.
Really?
Yeah.
20%?
Yeah, 20%. Yeah,
that's
I was
sad.
right on that one. Yeah.
How is that only?
Well, if you 50% of the people voted for
Yeah.
either party, I'm
We're
not going to
so
say.
much dumber than we ever thought.
Like, I love when Americans go, "Can you believe this?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take what I said seriously. I don't think I know. I think there's a figure of 48%, which is people who. Yeah, I think maybe 48% believe in evolution.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
That's much better.
But I still, I
Still
would.
they still think that God has something to. A lot of them still think God had a lot to do with it.
What do you say to the people who? I get into atheist arguments all the time. Not much less in the last decade. I was a militant atheist throughout my 20s and 30s, and then I sort of just went, believe whatever you want to fucking believe. Right? What do you? I would like a good argument for this when people say this to me. You go, well, there was the Big Bang Theory, and there's this, and there's no God, and all that sort of stuff. And they go, yeah, but who created the Big Bang? What was before the nothing? What do you say to those people who say that what was before the Big Bang?
Well, nobody knows what was before the Big Bang, but when they say who created the Big Bang, then the easy answer to that is, well, who created it? I mean, it doesn't help you to say that somebody created it.
Yeah, that's the problem, because then you go, well, who created God and who created this?
You say Chuck Lorre. That's what you said. NBC, Universal. I don't even know what channel the Big Bang Theory is on.
CBS.
Yeah, CBS. There you go. Yeah, because I think about it, as soon as you start talking about other planets, Richard, and the universe, my brain already goes to that where I'm like, oh my gosh. And then you start to think about how everything started and nobody knows, but that's the part that gets people.
I have a
afraid.
theory that humans are the only species on Earth that are so smart that they can be stupid. Right? Other animals aren't walking around going, oh, yeah, well, I hope God likes me, like a dog.
Yeah, they don't have like anxiety in the jungle.
About it. They don't have to make these decisions whether they go to heaven or hell or anything like that, because they're just walking around going, oh, I'm hungry today. I've got to eat some food. Got to make sure. Like that, right? And so we're the only one. We overthink things so much that we're dumb, that we start going, oh, well, it must be magic. We always end our arguments with, and magic.
Sky Daddy did it.
Would you agree with that theory, Richard, or is I'm bonkers?
I wouldn't go as far as to say I agree with it. No, quite immediately.
I like when he's quiet. You're like, Richard, would you like to back me up on that?
Where you at?
Richard knows what I'm saying.
I mean, no other animal's religious. No other animal believes in a higher power. Maybe they do. I don't fucking know. Do any other animals believe in higher powers, or it's just a human trait?
Don't you think your dog believes you're God?
Ah, yeah, see, but what came before me? Yeah, that's a good point. My dog thinks I'm God, and those ants I killed with a seeing glass thing when I was a kid.
Oh God.
They must really think I'm God.
Yeah.
So it's really bad.
This is such a broad topic. Before we get to our dinner party fact, is there anything we should talk about evolution, or anything that you think we missed here, Richard? Or
No, it's easy to make jokes about it, but it is very important. It is the reason we all exist. It's the reason why everything's so complicated. I mean, it's an astonishingly powerful force. Everybody ought to know about it.
How do we change people's minds who don't believe in it? Is it just tell them to read your books, or is there a simple answer I can say?
That'd be a good start, but I'm not sure. Not up to me to say that.
Well, I'll say it. Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again.
Yeah, you can say that.
Go to richarddawkins.net or go to his Twitter at Richard Dawkins. But,
Read my books. Read my books. They're much better.
Read the books. Don't go to those places I told you. The Selfish Gene, The God Delusion. He's got 13 books that he's written. Outgrowing God is his new book. So make sure to buy that and read that. If you're in Saudi Arabia, legally download it.
Before we get to dinner party fact,
to any of our fans out there listening, if you listen to the podcast and you're a creationist, please write to us and give us your wacky theories. I want to hear them.
We'll hear them on Comment World.
Yeah.
I do have the origin of monkey hanger. I don't even like saying it. Did you see me? I got shy.
Yeah, okay.
I have the dinosaur skin after.
Okay. So monkey hanger is a colloquial nickname by which people from the town of Hartlepool in northeastern England are sometimes called. And so according to local folklore, the term originates from an incident in which a monkey was hanged in blah, blah, blah. During the Napoleonic Wars, a French ship of the type, I don't know how to pronounce that, was wrecked in a storm off the coast of Hartlepool. The only survivor from the ship was a monkey allegedly dressed in a French army uniform to provide amusement for the crew.
And then they killed him?
On finding the monkey on the beach, some locals decide to hold an impromptu trial since the monkey was unable to answer their questions, and because they had neither seen a monkey nor a Frenchman before, they concluded that the monkey must be a French spy. Being found guilty, the animal was duly sentenced to death and summarily hanged on the beach. It's so fucked up. It's hilarious.
Isn't it funny that they go, that must be a Frenchman? The English Channel's like, I don't know, it's 40 miles or something. Like it's not the end of the world. And they're just like, no, that would be what a Frenchman looks like. It's already because
in medieval times it was quite common to have trials of animals.
That's so wild.
There was a rooster that was tried for laying an egg.
What? A rooster was tried for laying an
I
egg.
thought chickens are the roosters.
That's why you tried the rooster.
Oh, yeah, you try the rooster.
It's a witch.
Just sitting around there with an egg underneath it. Yeah, fucking, I'd do that trial today.
It's a witch rooster. Yeah.
All right, so for the dinosaur thing, it's a nodosaur, and the article says you can't even see its bones, but scientists are hailing it as perhaps the best preserved dinosaur specimen ever unearthed. That's because those bones remained covered by intact skin and armor 110 million years after the creature's death.
What's your source?
National Geographic.
Never
recently unveiled
right.
a dinosaur so well preserved that many have taken to calling it not a fossil but an honest to goodness dinosaur mummy.
Dinosaur mummy. Did you know about the dinosaur mummy, Richard?
Yeah, but it's not frozen. You weren't talking about a frozen dinosaur, weren't you?
Yeah, okay, the frozen part turned out to be wrong.
Yeah, he got your ass, Jack.
He was a mummy dinosaur skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack. Thanks for...
How do you know it was a he as well, you sexist bastard?
Yeah,
Big dick.
So Richard, this is a part of the show. We have Dinner Party Fact, where our expert gives us one fact or interesting item, obscure or interesting that the audience might know to use to impress people on the subject.
Okay. You are a closer cousin to a catfish than a catfish is to a dogfish.
Whoa.
That's a good one.
Mind blown.
Wait, we're closer cousin to catfish than a catfish is to a dogfish?
To a dog?
Yeah.
What's a dogfish?
It's a kind of shark, a kind of small
it's
shark.
like a shark.
Yeah.
But I reckon the catfish and the dogfish would have a better chat.
That might be so, but
like at family gatherings.
We have a recent common ancestor with a more recent ancestor with a catfish.
And what's that?
And then the two of us have a less recent common ancestor with a dogfish.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
dogfish, and then later we have a branch, and then it's catfish and human.
That's a great. This is a great dinner party fact because it's easy to remember too.
Yeah.
Because you can catfish and dogfish. You can
Yeah.
just
I'm going to test you, Richard. Am I closer to a giraffe or an elephant?
Giraffe.
All right. That'll help with me facts when I go out there.
That's how our whole podcast started. Is Jim used to tell women that he was a giraffe trainer at bars, and he memorized 2 facts of giraffes. He would go out to bars, and then he would be able to talk to women that way. And that's how this podcast started, with the power of little information. that
Yeah,
people
they have the same amount of bones in their neck as we do in the human spine, but I never went and found out how many bones that is.
Unnecessary.
I know you
Too
won't.
busy reading Chevy Chase books, mate.
Took a decade.
All right, again, as I said, our guest has been Richard Dawkins. Please read any one of his 13 books, but his new book, Outgrowing God, is out there. Check that out. But he also has The Selfish Gene, The God Delusion, and many others. At Richard Dawkins on Twitter. Thank you very much for being here, Richard Dawkins.
Thank you for having
Very
it. This is a real joy, Richard. This is a real pleasure talking to you. If you're ever in a bar, people, and someone walks up to you and goes, we didn't come from monkeys, you go, well, I don't know about that, and then hang one of them in a suit.
Let me just clarify that.
Okay, yeah.
Because people often get that make a mistake about that. We don't come from modern monkeys. That often people say we don't come from modern monkeys, which is true. What we do come from is animals that would have been called monkeys if we could see them today. But of course, they're very, very ancient.
All right. People come up to you and they say, we don't come from ancient monkeys. You go, if you said modern monkeys, I would say you're right. But ancient monkeys, I don't know about that.
Okay.
You know.